A very good afternoon and welcome to Africa Today. I am Uduak Daniel. First, let's talk the headlines. And on the headlines, Speaker House of Reps congratulates Tinubu. Still on the headlines, Ghana confirms 5 cases of monkeypox. Also on the headlines, EU sent an election observer mission to Angola. And on sports, new Eagles coach meets sports minister Dari Pesero, confident of winning AFCON. And now the news in detail. The Speaker of the Nigeria House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has congratulated Bola Tinubu for clinching the presidential ticket of the All Progressives Congress, that is the APC, for next year's general elections. Gbajabiamila, in a statement issued by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Lanre Lasisi, said he was happy the former Lagos State Governor had won the ticket. The Speaker said that with Tinubu's victory, APC stands a good chance of retaining power in 2023, noting that Nigerians across the board recognize his contributions to our nation's development. The Speaker called on Tinubu to be noble in victory and carry other aspirants along for the party's victory in the general elections, and equally urged other aspirants at the just concluded primary to join hands and support the party's presidential candidate. He commended the aspirants for their conduct before, during, and after the presidential primary. The Speaker also lauded President Muhammadu Buhari and the party's leadership for providing the enabling and level ground for all aspirants to present themselves to the party's delegates for the contest. Away from that story, in the same vein, the People's Democratic Party, that is the PDP presidential candidate for the 2023 general election, Atiku Abubakar, has met with governors elected on the platform of the party over preparations for next polls. Newsmen gathered that a meeting at the PDP presidential campaign headquarters, Legacy House in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, attended by the party's national chairman, Iyorchia Ayu, discussed issues relating to who will be the party's vice presidential candidate and other issues relating to the prosecution of the polls. In the aftermath of the presidential primary, the focus of party leaders has shifted to the choice of a suitable running mate for the former vice president. Already, different interest groups are drumming support for either Wike Emmanuel or the Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa to be chosen as the PDP vice presidential candidate. Tambuwal, who is also the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, while briefing newsmen on the outcome of the meeting, confirmed that the presidential candidate consulted the governors on the issues of a running mate.
You must have seen the national chairman and our presidential candidate attending our meeting, which is the first after our national convention. On this note, therefore, on behalf of my colleagues, the governors, let me commend our leaders and members of our party for a very successful national convention, and to say that the national chairman, along with the candidate, came to thank the governors for their various roles in the convention. And we have discussed about cooperation, collaboration, and prosecuting a very, very successful electioneering campaign that will result into victories for the PDP at various elections from State Houses of Assembly, National Assembly, governorship, and the presidential election come February 2023. So it's more of a consultative meeting on the matters concerning the way forward.
Still talking Africa Today, Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff, that is the COAS, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, has prepared the country's military officers for fragile security situation. The army also warned its personnel against engaging in partisan politics as the nation draws closer to its general elections scheduled to take place in February 2023. Yahya, who was represented by Major General Victor Ezugu, gave the warning on Wednesday during a training seminar at the 6th Division Nigerian Army Formation in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, and charged its personnel to maintain a high level of professionalism while carrying out its constitutional duties.
Be apolitical and eschew all political vices. All Nigerian Army personnel must also act within the ambit of laws and remain guided by provisions of the extant rules of engagement and code of conduct for the forthcoming election in 2023.
Victor Ezugu also spoke on media activities of the Army.
There have been sustained efforts by subversive elements and dissident groups to cast aspersions against the Nigerian Army, especially on the allegations of human rights abuses, using the social media as a platform. This, among other situations, demand that commanders at all levels must be circumspect, adaptable, and responsible.
Reports show that the aim of the second edition of the seminar focuses on building the capacity of senior-level field commanders to respond contemporary security challenges. Oluwafemi Oloyede, a participant of the seminar, thanked the leadership for organizing the event. And now, away from that story, let's have you know that the Nigeria Police Force, that is the NPF, has arrested 24 suspected political thugs with arms in Nasarawa State, north-central Nigeria. This was as the Inspector General of Police, that is the IGP, Usman Baba, approved the establishment of Electoral Offences Desk at the Force Criminal Investigations Department, that is the FCID, Force Headquarters, that is the FHQ, Abuja, with the Commissioner of Police, FCID, as the desk officer. Disclosing this on Wednesday, Force Public Relations Officer, that is the FPRO, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, noted that in line with the IGP's mandates, operatives of the Nigeria Police Force, that is the NPF, attached to the Kefi Area Command of Nasarawa State, acting on credible intelligence, arrested 24 suspected political thugs at the hotel along Kefi Akwanga Road. According to him, the thugs suspected to be loyal to a contestant in the Nasarawa West senatorial primary went into a hotel in a convoy of 7 private vehicles. Ogunjobi disclosed that items recovered from the arrested suspects include 8 pump-action guns, 2 locally made revolver guns, 37 rounds of live cartridges, 4 bulletproof vests, 27 mobile phones, 2 pairs of vigilante uniforms, 5 cutlasses, and 10 assorted knives. He also revealed that the IGP had equally approved the establishment of vigilantes, that is the VGN, at state commands across the nation. When we return, news from other parts of West Africa. Don't go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. So let's take you to Ghana and have you know that the Ghana Health Service, that is the GHS, has confirmed 5 cases of the monkeypox disease. Dr. Patrick Kuma Agboye, who made this known Wednesday, disclosed no death had been recorded among the cases. According to Kuma, the cases were recorded in 3 regions, Eastern, Western, and Greater Accra, and 12 suspected cases have been investigated since May 24, 2022. The GHS director revealed that one of the cases was recorded in a Ghanaian who traveled to the United States of America. According to Kuma Agboye, there is currently no treatment for monkeypox. However, he has said there is a vaccine available, but not in Ghana.
Human transmission can also occur, but it has to be very close skin-to-skin contact. So far, since the outbreak in Europe occurred, we've tested 12 suspected cases in Ghana since 24th of May. Currently, we have confirmed 5 cases. In 3 regions, Eastern, Western, and Greater Accra. This is where we've found the 5 cases. No death has occurred among the cases. One of the cases has been recorded in a Ghanaian who traveled to the United States from Ghana.
Countries like Morocco and Nigeria have also confirmed cases of monkeypox, with Nigeria banning the consumption and sale of bushmeat as a means to avert the spread of the disease. Away from that story, Adama Bictogo, an executive of the ruling party in Côte d'Ivoire, has been elected president of the National Assembly. This comes a month after the death of his predecessor, Amadou Samaoro. Adama Bictogo, 59, largely beat his opponent, MP Jean-Michel Amanko, 237 votes to 6. According to reports, 3 blank votes and 2 invalid ballots were also recorded. Bictogo, who already enjoyed the support of the Rassemblement de Opposition pour la Paix, that is the RHDP, the majority in the assembly received the rallying of the main opposition parties, including the Democratic Party of Côte d'Ivoire, that is the PDCI, from which his rival Jean-Michel Amanko comes. In a statement read from the gallery before the vote, opposition parliamentary groups, including the PDCI of former President Henry Konan Bédié and the African People's Party Côte d'Ivoire, that is the PPACI, of the former head of state Laurent Gbagbo, called on their deputies to vote for Bictogo. Bictogo has been a member of parliament for the commune of Agboville, north of Abidjan, since 2011 and has held several senior positions in President Alassane Ouattara's party in recent years. He was also vice president of the National Assembly since April 2021, acting in the absence of Amadou Samaoro, who had been absent for many months before his death on 7 May. He was also Minister of African Integration between 2011 and 2012. We now move to other parts of Africa after this break. Do stay with us. Always a delight to have you back. The European Union, that is the EU, has said it was ready and willing to send an election observer mission to Angola and noted the interest of the authorities and national parties. The Director General for Africa of the European Union's External Action Service discussed several areas of cooperation between Brussels and Luanda during a visit to the country this week. The general elections in August were also on the agenda. The European official also met with representatives of the main political parties. Reports showed that Angola will stage its election on August 24. Rita Larang-Jinha, Director for Africa at the European External Action Service, said the electoral observation missions have the advantage of contributing so that the processes can be free and transparent electoral processes. The National Electoral Commission said organizations interested in observing the exercise will be accredited once the list of political parties and coalitions participating in the election is confirmed by the Constitutional Court. Algeria on Wednesday suspended a treaty of friendship and cooperation concluded in 2002 with Spain. The announcement was made at the end of a meeting of the Algerian High Security Council, chaired by President Tebboune. Spain regretted Algiers' decision, adding it considers Algeria a friend and remained open to develop the special relationship of cooperation between the two countries. The treaty provided for the strengthening of political dialogue between Spain and Algeria and the development of cooperation in fields like economy and education. The move comes after Madrid altered its long-standing position on Western Sahara, a former Spanish colony, to back Morocco's autonomy project for Western Sahara. Algiers called its violation of Spain's legal, moral, and political obligations. The vast desert area bordering the Atlantic and Mauritania is claimed by Rabat and Western Sahara. And now let's get on to Tunisia and have you know that the Tunisian lawyers' week-long strike continued on Wednesday as judges held the protest outside the capital's courts when dozens of lawyers and activists gathered on steps of Palace of Justice in Tunis. Some of the protesters shouted, "Down with the coup," and others chanted, "Judicial authority, no police orders." All protesters denounced last week's decision by President Kais Saied to dismiss 57 judges. Lawyer Amel Miladi said regarding the president's decision to fire the judges is an illegal and false decision because the decision did not follow the laws and rules, adding that those very laws were made to protect citizens and judges. Those are laws that are anchored in Tunisia constitutional law. In a televised address on June 1st, President Kais Saied removed judges accusing them of corruption, sexual harassment, as well as protecting terrorists. Then, hundreds of judges unanimously voted over the weekend to hold a sit-in and strike. Since then, courtrooms across the North African country have been closed. Up next on Africa Today is business news. Don't go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. This is Africa Today and this is the Business News Desk. Talking business, it has been reported that operators in the oil and gas sector, as well as other stakeholders, are uncomfortable with the continued rise in the amount spent in subsidizing premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, as it jumped to 947.51 billion naira between January and April 2022. An analysis of data obtained from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, that is the NNPC Limited, on Wednesday showed a monthly rise in PMS subsidy spendings by oil firm, though NNPC described it as under recovery or value shortfall. It was also gathered that the oil firm had informed the Federation Account Allocation Committee that it would deduct an estimated value shortfall of 874.5 billion naira in May 2022 proceed due for sharing at June 2022 FAC meeting. According to reports, NNPC has been the sole importer of petrol into the country for several years running. The firm has also been subsidizing the commodity all these years. The President, Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Billy Gillis Harry, explained that the actual cost of petrol without subsidy was usually a little higher than that of diesel. And now let's have you know that the Deputy Minister for Minerals, the United Republic of Tanzania, Stephen Kiruswa, has commended the federal government for supporting artisanal and small-scale miners with intervention funds. Kiruswa gave the commendation in an interview with newsmen on the sideline of the just concluded 3 days Natural Resources and Energy Investment Summit in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, adding that Tanzania had been dealing on small-scale mining. He said that African countries had been losing lots of byproducts from raw materials to the developed countries. Kiruswa also said that Tanzania had commenced a big project on exploration on strategic minerals that could be used for electric car batteries as alternative means to fossil fuel, adding that the country had large deposits of lithium, copper, gold, tanzanite, and among others currently being explored. He said that the country had placed restriction on tanzanite mineral, as the mineral could be found in Tanzania and is used to make ornaments. It is one of the rarest gemstones on Earth. He called on mining investors to take the advantage of minerals available in the country and invest in Tanzania. Still to come on Africa Today is sports. Don't go away.
afternoon and welcome to Sports News on Africa Today. I am Aidnan Lubem. Now to sports news. Despite failing to win a game in their last 5 matches, the Super Eagles Stars have promised to end their winless run with a victory over Sierra Leone on Thursday today. The 2013 Africa Cup of Nations champions kick off their qualification for the next edition of the tournament, billed for Ivory Coast with a home clash against the Leone Stars, whom have failed to beat in their last 2 meetings. Reports show that the Nigerians were held 4-4 by Sierra Leone at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City on November 11, 2021, and 4 days later played out a goalless draw in Freetown during the qualifiers for the 2021 AFCON. Some players who spoke to the media on Wednesday said they were fully prepared to begin their AFCON qualifying campaign on a winning note. Team captain Ahmed Musa said the Eagles were on redemption mission to ensure that they restore the pride of the nation and the confidence of their esteemed fans.
Sierra Leone are coming to Abuja because we give them that confidence. The last game we played in Benin from 4-1 to 4-4. So definitely the game tomorrow will be difficult because they are coming to Abuja. The last game we played was 4-4. So it's left for us to go into the pitch to show them what we have.
His assistant, William Troost Ekong, also expressed confidence in the team's ability to bounce back from their recent setbacks. Defender Leon Balogun said the team could not afford to be complacent as there were no more pushovers in African football. New Super Eagles head coach Jose Peseiro met with the Minister of Youth and Sport Development, Sunday Dari, for the first time since his appointment. Dari met with the Portuguese at a reception in a conference hall at the Sports Ministry on Wednesday. At the reception, Dari charged the former Venezuela and Sporting Lisbon manager to be consistent in delivering excellent results for the Super Eagles, as Nigeria is a football-loving country.
For us as a nation, NFF, and as a ministry, for us as a nation, the NFF as a ministry, the message we want to deliver to the new coach emphatically is that this is the start of a rebuilding process. Nigerians are a football-loving people, a football-loving nation. They love the Super Eagles, most especially, and love to win every game, even though we know it's not possible, whether we play a friendly or play a competitive game. We want to urge you, let there be consistency and discipline in our team on and off the pitch. If you lose, it should be done gallantly with a good and spirited fight. We hope that your decisions will be governed at all times by merit over sentiment, performance over gratification.
In a related development, during the pre-match conference ahead of the clash against the Leone Stars of Sierra Leone, Peseiro expressed his belief in the team to execute the game and his readiness to win the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire. He also spoke to give the players the needed support and confidence.
Because I believe in that players, I believe in that team, I believe in the quality of this squad. I think in this moment Nigeria has not only quality but the quantity, many good players for build a fantastic team and for reach the top in Africa, in my opinion. One time more, thank you very much for this opportunity. I finalize with only this word because it's my mind. I dream, but I believe, not only in dream. I want to win. You want to win. Now, I want to help these fantastic players to win the next AFCON.
Away from Nigeria now to South Africa, where the team held a late training session in Delhi as they continue to prepare for the first 2020 of the first match series against host India. Captain Temba Bavuma is hoping to surprise the host with a series win and build more momentum ahead of the T20 World Cup scheduled for later this year. Reports show that Bavuma's side has been helped with some timely performances by key South African players in the recently concluded IPL, that is the Indian Premier League, with the middle order batter David Miller being the most impressive player. Others who impressed during the T20 extravaganza include fast bowler Kagiso Rabada and Aiden Makram, who has found success as a middle order batter in white ball cricket. The two teams have faced each other 15 times in T20 category, with India taking the day on 9 occasions. As of March 2022, South Africa ranks fifth, while India holds the #1 spot in the ICC T20 team ranking. And now to boxing. South African lightweight Simiso Buthelezi has died after suffering bleeding on the brain following a boxing bout at the weekend in Durban. The 24-year-old faced compatriot Sifile Mtungwa for the WBF All-Africa lightweight title on Sunday, but the 10-round contest was stopped by the referee after Buthelezi appeared to shadow box an invisible opponent. Footage of the fight showed Mtunungwa falling through the ropes, and then, after the fight was restarted, Buthelezi advanced towards an empty corner where he started to swing punches. Mtungwa was declared the winner, and Buthelezi subsequently collapsed and was rushed to hospital. He was placed in an induced coma after it was discovered he had bleeding on the brain. Boxing South Africa, that is BSA, confirmed Buthelezi had died in a statement jointly issued with the boxer's family. And that's your sports news on Africa Today. Back to Uduak Daniel for the rest of the news.
Interesting stories on the sports and world. Thank you, Ainan Lubem, for that one. Still in the news, we have this, where let's have you know the local sources on Wednesday said rebels have killed 5 gendarmes in Cameroon near a region where deadly conflict has poked separatists from the country's Anglophone minority against the security forces. Adamo Yamo Kopit, a member of parliament for the constituency and a member of the opposition Union Democratique de Cameroon, that is the UDC party, told reporters that the separatists killed 5 gendarmes. The northwest and southwest regions have been the scene of a deadly 5-year war between armed groups demanding independence in the area called Ambazonia, and security forces massively deployed by the power of the president Paul Biya, 89, who has ruled Cameroon with an iron fist for nearly 40 years. Separatist rebels, as well as the military and police, are regularly accused by the UN and international NGOs of crimes against civilians. The conflict has killed more than 6,000 people, mostly civilians, since the late 2016 and forced more than 1 million people to move, according to the NGO International Crisis Group, that is the ICG. On Tuesday, the Defense Ministry announced that soldiers had killed 9 civilians, including a baby, in the northwest region in June, early with the army acknowledging a disproportionate response by its men. The Anglophone conflict broke out in October 2016 after peaceful demonstrations by part of the Anglophone minority who felt marginalized and demanded more autonomy or independence were violently repressed by the forces of order. And that's Africa Today. But before we go, another look at our top stories. We told you earlier on that Buhari arrives Abuja after a 3-day official visit to Madrid. We also brought to the fore the fact that, all right, we'll just call it a close right now. And but just as we call it a close, remember to visit us on Facebook at Hills TV. On Instagram, it is at Hills TV, while on YouTube is at Hills TV. I am Uduak Daniel. Thank you for watching.